asked the question of what kind of miter saw do you recommend. I just checked and mine is on sale, so I'm just going to go through the features that mine has and why those are features that you want, and why you shouldn't just buy a cheaper one and then plan to upgrade later. Okay, so the first thing is the size of it. This is a 12-inch sliding miter saw, which means that it moves in and out. So that gives you a lot more width to work with. I can cut things up to like 25 inches wide by flipping it over after the first cut and cutting along that same thing. That's really convenient. A lot of them are stationary, which means they can just chop down and they can't move backwards and forwards. And they're a lot smaller, and that really limits the width of the stock that you can cut. Then there's a double miter, which means it can move in both directions. A lot of them can only move in one direction. You can make it work, but it makes it easier when you can move it in both directions, so you're not trying to figure out, oh, I have to cut this upside down. It makes it easier. It also is a double bevel, so it can cut at a bevel in both directions. Same thing, some of them can only move in one direction. It just makes things easier if it can move in both directions. And then also it's a compound miter saw, which means you can bevel and miter at the same time. This feature is mainly used for cutting crown molding, but it's nice to have. I have not done much crown molding. I've actually done it for the first time just in the past few months, but I'm glad I had that feature, even though it took me a long time to work up to that. Miter saws are really expensive. So yes, you can probably find one for $200, $300. That's gonna have way less features, and then you're just gonna have to upgrade it eventually anyway. And that's still expensive. So my opinion is that you should just invest. If you think you're gonna be doing projects, you should just invest the money up front. That way you're not spending more money down the line. And the last feature mine has is it has a cut line. So it tells me right where my saw blade is going to hit the wood. Now, you don't need this, but it's a nice thing to have. That way I can position my cut line on the opposite side of my measured mark. Okay, so if I'm cutting here and I've made my mark, my line is going to tell me exactly where that saw is going to hit, so then I can adjust my board so that line is right on the outside of the mark. If I didn't have that cut line, then I only have, it's kind of hard to tell if that's right on the outside of that mark. So then maybe I extend my line and then determine where it is, then you can. But with the line tool, I can determine where that saw is going to hit the whole length of my board, so it doesn't matter where I made my measurement mark.